Hello there, and a very warm welcome to cricket.com on this Sunday night. I know we do the Monday night normally, but tonight we're going to be reviewing the second T20 International. And look, plain and simple, Gotham Gambhir getting a series win under his belt in literally 2 days. That's how it's worked out for him. And many people would say that the first result was a thala for a reason, 43 runs. Second one is a 7-wicket win as well. So what do you want? My name's Avanish. You have, of course, Nikhil Popa and Jeet joining us in this one. We're still in the midst of the post-match presentation, but let me not get carried away and tune into my TV right now. But Nick's, how comprehensive was that? And again, it was Yashasvi Jaiswal, just brilliant. And no wonder we have him on the thumbnail.
Yeah, and this team is making it a habit of trying to change things in last 30 balls. Got a lot of wickets in the first 20. Got plenty of them today as well. So I think Sri Lanka really started well. But the moment the ball started to spin, something spun and they just collapsed from nowhere. And after Kusal got out, you felt like, oh, foot. Finally, this is the thing that we expected at all times. But I think the chase was even more comprehensive. I think there was very little chance apart from poor Sanju Samson duck. I just don't know. We'll talk about it later. But the chase was as good as it can get, 100% sure.
Yeah, it was a rain curtailed one in a partisan crowd in Palikele. But look, at the end of the day, it was a good game. Again, people trolled Sanju, and that's the problem here because we thought he wouldn't get the opportunity with the rain coming in, and then he got a pearler from Teeksana for a first ball duck. Jaiswal is man of the match, so we've indicated the thumbnail as well. Jeet, how do you sum up that game? And you just feel for Sri Lanka, man. 130 for 2 and 15. What a platform to just launch it, potentially get 190, 200. And even if that happened to 180, albeit, India would have had to chase down maybe 90, 95 in this given 8 overs. So do you think they lost it there with the bat in hand?
They did, and it was a very similar pattern to yesterday, where I was checking. They lost the 9 wickets with 30 runs yesterday. Today they lost 31. Sorry, they lost 7 wickets with 31 runs. So it was a very very similar pattern that they followed, where the top four were able to score, but what followed after that was not really helpful for them. So something for them to look at. Top four delivering. There is nobody chipping in the middle order or even at the back end. So that's a big issue that's been consistent over the two games. So probably something that they could reflect at. Because look, I mean, when it's a rain curtailed game, man, it's an 8 over chase. Chasing at less than 10 per over is going to be simpler, even if the ball is turning a lot. It's still a very very easy task because you've got a lot of batters. You can just walk in and start attacking from ball one. So it gets a lot more easier for the chasing team in a scenario like this. So it was always going to be a huge challenge after they lost Kushal Pereira and there was nothing to follow after that. So quite disappointing from Sri Lanka's perspective, but India, man, it was as clinical as it could get. I mean, somebody like Yashasvi Jaiswal, that was a ludicrous knock because, of course, that ball was spinning very, very sharply. And that first over from Mahesh Dikshana reminded me of a certain Ajanta Mendes because there was that element of mystery in that over because the ball was gripping a lot. It was coming back in the right handers and also moving away. So but fantastic by Yashasvi Jaiswal and Surya Kumar Yadav, man. Just too good.
Yeah, Surya was playing that sweep shot and almost toying with the bowlers of Sri Lanka. Lots of comments coming through, which is good to see. Good to take them as well in just a bit. Correction, not Jaiswal man of the match. Bishnoi for his 3 for 26. Remember, he got the crucial scab of Nisanka first. Then he was in a hat trick by getting Shanaka, who's not had a good series, a duck, of course, in the first and the duck in the second game. And who else did he get? He got Hasaranga bowled as well. So Sri Lanka literally collapsing, not just in the Saturday game, but in the Sunday game. And that's turned out to be doomsday for them on literally what's been a very bright day for Sri Lanka cricket in terms of the women's side of things, winning the Asia Cup, beating India there. We'll review that and much more in the Monday Night Live. But just a shout out to, of course, Chamari Atapatu and a lot of them. Good names to trickle out of this women's team. So on and upwards to the Sri Lankan Eves. Right. Hey, guys, saying Chiku G. Hello to Chiku. Hello to a lot of you guys as well. Jaiswal got a what for sixes. Bishnoi man of the match. Sorry for that, Abbas. You, of course, have got me stand corrected. Kohli's innings like Smriti today would have been termed criminally match losing if Bumrah and Hardik and Artif should turned up in the most pressure situation of the final. Agreed to disagree with you there. India was winning anyway, though, saying Samar Ahmad. And he also asked, shorter game didn't let the ball get old enough to slow things down in the second innings. Is that a valid theory? Nicks, what do you think? I mean, essentially, again, the rain, you can't really control it, but do you agree with Samar here?
It's a fair thought to have because you saw that in the Indian innings as well, that the ball did grip and turn. But something that you have to also keep in mind is the pace at which Riyan Parag bowled. That is something that the commentators also mentioned time and time again, that Bishnoi, Akshar Patel, Hasaranga, they've all bowled at a very different pace compared to Riyan Parag, which is why Riyan Parag got that purchase. Otherwise, you would have expected more turn for the other spinners as well. So that was there. And once rain came in, you knew, the ball will probably get wet whenever it goes into the outfield. And that is something that you can't control. You can't even control the rain. So maybe that was also the thought behind opting to chase, because that would mean that you would get those conditions when you are batting second. So not much that they can do. But with the bat, I think Sri Lanka completely missed out on those extra 15-20 runs, because, as you said, even if you then had a target of 95 or 800 odd, then you take a few early, then you have a chance. And I also feel they missed the trick by not bringing Pathrana earlier. Jaiswal and others were not going to wait for him to come. So uh, yes, the ball did not get old enough, but you can't control. They still did not do the controllables well.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Certain tactical calls from Charita Sri there's captain, probably could have gotten Pratirana earlier, given there was a curtailed game. And the rain, of course, playing a fascinating subplot in this one. Prior to the game, the toss was delayed. India got the benefit of the calling correctly. And let me just reflect the match summary, in fact, for you guys really quickly right now, because it will tell you one thing. It'll tell you that Hardik Pandya potentially could have also got man of the match with that little 9 ball 22 and then 2 for 23, but it was Bishnoi in the end. And Sri Lanka, like I said, 20-30 shot easily after being inserted in. Some stats going around Kusal Pereira. You can check them out on cricket.com. And like I said, I liked how Kamindu Mendes also kind of played the perfect foil, you could say, in that stand, which they got. In reply, like Nixon, Jeet have already been harping upon. Jaiswal shining again, and Surya with some fireworks there as well. I mean, one comment is from Greg Jeet, and it's the inevitable one on Sanju. He goes on to say he has no motivation anymore. He will not get picked for ODIs. His strength in T20 internationals, he's been average. We'll only get a place if someone has a niggle. It's better he's not picked at all. The daggers are out.
Yeah, but then you need somebody to, be picked when somebody else has a nickel, right? You need that kind of a batter as well. So, but yeah, look, it's been quite unfortunate for Sanju Samson that he's first of all not been a regular fixture on the side. He's been in and out, and whenever he's got those chances, he's not been able to capitalize. So that also hasn't really worked out with. And that kind of things, happen. Your confidence generally, does take a bit of a shot. So even tonight, it was quite unfortunate. I mean, that first ball was pretty much unclear. You'd not expect that with a new ball from Mahesh Dikshina and the pace that he balls at. So you can't do. I mean, these are uncontrollables, and you're going to have these kind of nights as well. It's just that you cannot be too critical either. With this kind of performance. It's just that a little bit of a consistent run might change things for him, and that is what is required. Even tonight, sadly, I mean, he got a chance because Shubman Gill had that niggle, that next pass and whatever he had. I mean, that's a chance, that led to, Sanju Samson getting included. But I would rather have Sanju Samson, get a longer stretch. Say, for example, if we are playing a 5-match series, then he should be a part of all the 5 games and then judge him or the kind of performance that he puts in that particular series. But right now, that in and out kind of stuff doesn't really help him out either.
Yeah, and you can see why people in the comments are absolutely pouring their hearts out on Sanju. Path goes on to say Indian T20 international wicketkeeper batters, beg your pardon, and the position itself looks cursed. Dhoni, DK, Pant, KL, Sanju, Ishan, none of them have great stats, unlike IPL. KL has the best ones among them. We took the one from Greg here. There's also one from Abbas on Samson saying give Samson 15 to 20 matches at the number 4 position, and then we'll see what he does. Just look at his batting position of all the matches he's played. Pant, 76 games played, out of which 40 without any role. Give Samson the role. What's your 2 pence on Samson then, Nix? Because, again, you would feel for him. We all feel for him. That sympathetic card is out there right now. But it's these opportunities that he just needs to grab, and sometimes it just goes against him.
Yeah, I said the same thing in a tweet, and somebody has replied that the stars have never aligned for him. Some of it is also true. Just adding on to what Jeet said, see, it's about giving the guy a very clear role and sticking to that. It's very idealistic to expect people to bat anywhere and just come off. It doesn't happen like that. If it was that easy, everybody would be playing everywhere in every lineup. So uh, when Sanju played in Zimbabwe, you will feel okay, different role. Now he's coming here as an opener. He's never going to open. What's the point of playing him as an opener in the very first place? So you have Rishabh Pant who's batting at 3, you suffered him at 4. Is 4 where he's going to bat? Oh, left right combination. Okay, fair. So too many things at this point of time are not quite aligning for Sanju. Completely agree on the point of getting a purler. Even if you're set, maybe even if you're better at 4 5, that was a difficult ball to get even then. So I think that leeway has to be given to him, and we've given too many people enough chances to not worry about Sanju getting a few chances. So I think I'm genuinely hoping that Sanju can go up to Gambhir and ask him, "Okay, what is it that is expected of me?" Because then only he can do it very well. Because if you open one day, bat at 3, bat at 4, bat at 6, it is not going to give you any kind of consistency in terms of your role as well. It's not easy to just come into the side as an opener because Gill is fit, most likely he's going to go out. So it's a lose-lose situation. He does well, he doesn't get anything. He does well, he doesn't do well. He said, "Oh, he can't do well even in limited chances." So it's a very tricky slope. But I'm just hoping, as Jeet said, one consistent role, one consistent spot. Go ahead and give him that. And then if it doesn't perform, you're done for good. No more questions asked. But just give him, I would say, 15 to 20 matches or 10 to 15 matches at least, and then take a call once and for all. No problems.
Yeah, let's see how it unfolds for Sanju. But it's another painful day for him and his fans. But let's see if that last game, which I think happens on, when is it? Wednesday? The 30-20 International?
Tuesday, no,
Tuesday.
30th.
Tuesday. So if Sanju does get the nod, but Gill in all likelihood will come back after the next spasm that he suffered from him to miss out today. More comments to come through. Abbas, we took that one. Akash going on to say Hasranga needs to go back to the drawing board, kill the hopes of Sri Lanka. Got absolutely slaughtered by Hardik Pandya as well. Got pumped into the crowd like 20 yards back. Greg also going on to say Indian management have decided who they will back regardless of form. Sanju's not part of this plan. I mean, with the new coach, you kind of might be getting hope with that story. So again, if they're going to be choosing him for T20s, like Nick's mentioned, give him the role and give him the deadline. Because that's super important as well. Let's quickly just talk about Sky. See,
You can't talk about
it's starting to do this by itself, this stupid stream here. But anyway, let's talk about Sky a little bit. Jeet, yes, we understand his best friend in the cricket field is that fine leg region, and he just absolutely loves it. But even the sweep shot, do you think he's one of the best sweepers going around in world cricket? And it's a good question that Ganari Palandrath has.
He probably is the best, arguably the best, because whenever he hits these sweep shots, more often than not, they find the boundary. And of course, you're talking about the fine leg. Let's face it. I mean, Sri Lanka had protection for that tonight. They had a deep fine leg, deep square leg. I would say deep square leg consistently placed against the spinners. But that is where the range came out. Those sweep shots were also targeting the mid wicket, and that is where he was accumulating the boundaries. So it's the range of access with his sweep shots. He's not stuck to one particular region when he plays that sweep shot. He could hit it behind square, and he could hit it in front of the square as well. So I think it's absolutely phenomenal the kind of ability he has, and it's not really restricted to spin. We have always seen him, come up with these funky shots and space as well. So we've seen what ABD Villiers have done. I mean, come on, this guy's he's no slouch. I mean, he's done equally as good, at playing these kind of shots against spacers and spinners. So I'd probably say, yeah, he's probably the best sweeper going around world cricket at the moment.
Yeah, he's a good shout for man of the series because 58 in that first T20 International, 26 today. And I just want to speak about his captaincy a little bit, Nix, because yes, it was a slowish pitch and it's evident in the bowling figures because you have Arshdeep and Siraj not completing their quota of 4 overs. Riyan Parag got 4 today. So do you think, again, it was Sky playing it off the cuff, not having a premeditated plan, and that worked out well for India? Because the way he, used his bowlers was kind of refreshing, to say the least.
100%. I also like the usage of Siraj with three up top. I think that is something that can be explored because slowly but again, I'll keep harping. Gradually, you have to start thinking of life without Bumrah because some days, God forbid, he doesn't turn up, and it is possible he is human after all. However, we not may want to believe that, but if he has an off day, you need a few more options to try and see if somebody else can do half of his job. So yeah, Hardik, maybe you feel Hardik was used far too late, but I'm completely fine with it. The good thing that I feel with him was the moment he saw Riyan got help, he stuck to him. And then he immediately got back Ravi as well that, okay, now this is where Bishnoi, I want you to bowl. And you saw how much change Ravi Bishnoi had in terms of him dropping short to Kusal, bowling very straight, to then getting his lines right, his pace right as well to get the help and then eventually get those wickets. So, the more of this, I'm happy to see more such experiments because these are, we discussed this yesterday, right? You can't have Riyan Parag bowling after 15th over. You need him to bowl in the middle overs. Okay, see what he's up to, see what are the tricks that he has. Today he could have simply taken a few wickets as well. He went for runs eventually, but that's okay. The more he bowls, I already feel he's a better option than Abhishek Sharma at this point of time in terms of with the ball, the control that he has. So there is a lot to work with if you get Abhishek also in the setup. It's a very good option to have. So overall, I think nearly as funky as it could get. Happy with the experiments. May they continue. You need to tick more boxes.
Yeah, and Gambhir will be delighted not just to get the W and the W, but of course just have a little bit of an imprint with regards to how clinical these wins, I should say, have been. Jeet, I just want to ask you about the top performer today in this cricket.com review, and it is, of course, Ravi Bishnoi. 4 overs, 3 for 26. Like I said, critical wickets as well. And he kept it tight, even though the pitch was conducive to spin. What is it with Bishnoi, yeah? Because what, 31 T20 internationals now, reaching 50 wickets, which is pretty rapid. He's pretty much one of those modern leg spinners who are fast wicket to wicket. We've seen it, of course, in different teams. And do you think now he's a perfect understudy to someone like Kuldeep?
Yeah, I think that's what I mentioned yesterday, that it's pretty much clear going forward for India that Ravi Bishnoi is going to be a primary right-arm wrist spinner, with, I think, Chell being out of the picture now. So Bishnoi has always had that talent and he's always been impressive at different levels of cricket. It's just that, the IPL season that he had this time around didn't instill a lot of confidence in me. And yesterday also he kind of followed the same suit where those inconsistencies crept in his performance again. So that's why I was, wanting him to, get a stretch of these three games and be involved in all these games. Doesn't matter who the other players are. Let them just stop and change those players, but not Ravi Bishnoi, knowing how important he's going to be in the future. So it's always important for wrist spinner to be, in that rhythm. And whenever that wrist spinner finds rhythm, he has a long stretch of good form that backs him up. So that is something that I want to see going forward, a lot more consistency. And that's why I saw a distinctive change from body ball yesterday versus body ball tonight. I think over numbers 1 and 3 were kind of, again, a bit iffy with how he bowled to Kushal Pereira, but otherwise, overs 2 and 4 is where he found his mojo, especially to the right handers. Being very aggressive with his lines, attacking the stumps, and landing the ball where a wrist spinner needs to land. That is what was the difference from yesterday versus today, and you could see the impact as well. So it's just that, I want him to be a lot more consistent with how he bowls, because this guy definitely has got the goods to be really, really successful in this format of the game. We've seen what Rashid Khan has done. He's very similar as well, like you mentioned. It's that modern day right arm wrist spinner, right? They're quicker through the air. They look to, bank upon more googlies, attack the stumps. That's exactly what Ravi Bishnoi does as well. So if this guy continues to be like this, then man, he's going to be a huge asset for India in the future.
Yeah, especially in conditions like this. And you think about the next T20 World Cup, it is going to be played in India. So all the more reason to pick Bishnoi in the squad, let alone in the 11. Now, we will talk about random questions that you guys are throwing at us. Path is still talking about Sanju. Mohit has a good one about Sundar. And we'll look ahead about the third T20 International, beg your pardon. And Ganari Path has got in a good comment, because I just want to ask Nix about Riyan Parag, the bowler. We saw it, okay, got cheap wickets, 3 for 5 in the first game. Bowled 4 overs today, albeit didn't take a wicket, but channelized his inner Ashwin, got coupled to beat the bat. And we were like, well bowled. I think Pant was liking it as well. How much will this be a value add to the Riyan Parag package? Because surely Gambhir sees it, and if he can just add that little polishing off with the bat in hand, man, that's something that India will want for a long time in this format.
Very well. So, and even not just this format, slightly getting ahead of myself, that he could potentially be the guy who can be an understudy to Hardik's role.
Yeah.
Now we've seen, this question as well is something similar, that he's been slotted in at 5 and 6 in the backhand, in the backhand for Rajasthan. It hasn't quite come off. So I don't want that to change for him at Rajasthan, because at 4 is still a good spot. But for India, it's very hard for him to get the 4 spot now. But if he can be there, continue to bowl, and be the guy who can hit pace at the back end, at this point of time, I think he's directly competing with Sundar for that role. Because with Sundar, yes, the lefty angle was an advantage, but now you have enough lefties in the setup. And if Riyan can work on hitting pace, because spin, I don't have a doubt on him having those abilities to clear spinners, but if he can just get gradually better at hitting pace, then that could really be a very handy asset to have, and something that can Hardik can look forward to, that okay, after me, he is the guy as your all-rounder in this format. Of course, it may not be a same bowling one. You could go to Nitish Reddy for that. But as you said, the entire package, it is very, very tempting. But consistency at that spot is very difficult. So our expectations also need to be aligned in a way that given where he's going to come in, even in the T20 format, it's very late. He's had his success at 4. So the returns may not always be immediate, but it's a very good long-term thing to invest in.
Yeah, and of course, someone else pointing out in the comments saying that he can bowl leg spin too. If he has both, he's almost like India's Liam Livingston, if you'd like to term it that way. Akash saying, off topic, Bishnoi would want to leave LSG. He might get a very good bid at the mega auction. Can be a really good all-round option in the future. Thanks for that, Akash. And remember, more IPL chat and stuff to talk about, because the owners are meeting up on the 31st of July to discuss how many retentions. Now, the grapevine has it that some franchisees want 8, some want 1 or 2, but they're taking the large consensus of just probably having 5 to 6 retentions, because they also want to look at the auction to not be a lackluster affair. If you have about 60, 70 players being retained, then obviously that's a big thing. So we'll discuss all of that and much more in the MNL tomorrow. Join us at 8 p.m. for that. We, of course, will look back at a lot of things which has hit our screens this weekend in terms of cricket, talking Stokes and him getting a fastest 50 for England, opening the batting, unbelievable. Ireland, Zimbabwe, the MLC final on today, so lots to get into in that regular podcast. Right, why not Washington Sundar, saying Mohit Ranjan in the comments in this series. In Zimbabwe, Sundar was a player of the tournament, and it's food for thought that again, because he's been picked next as the only off spinner. I mean, obviously there's Ashanna and the others in the names. I mean, in the hat, but will Sundar get a nod on Tuesday? Do you expect him to at least play one game?
And maybe he could be playing the ODIs for all you know. I think this is a series to see Riyan a lot more. So happy to see that. Something that I've spoken like a rat now about wanting people for separate formats. I want Sundar to be there in the ODIs and if possible the test scheme. So T20 something, if Riyan can get the job done, I am more than happy to have Riyan in my setup at this point of time, because Sundar isn't opening the bowling. Now, if Sundar was opening the bowling in the power play, you have Akshar Patel doing that for India. If Sundar was doing it, then I probably want, okay, no, maybe Sundar has more leverage with the ball. But if they're both going to be used in the middle overs, and because with Sundar you have the fitness bit, I would rather have him play a format that he's more comfortable with. And of course, he can stay ODI fit, then nothing like it. So, as Mohit says, it could potentially come down to Sundar versus Riyan. And for the good, just keep them to the format that they excel at. If Riyan is too much for ODIs, fine, keep Sundar there and keep Riyan for the T20 format.
And that's the debate, which is why I want to ask Jeet as well who he sides in this one, because it's almost like, oh, are you going to like Riyan's bowling and think it's going to be better than Sundar's batting? Because both, of course, all-rounders, Sundar a bowling all-rounder, Riyan a batting all-rounder, different roles, of course, lefty, righty. So there's so many things to consider, even for Gambhir, to throw him into that last game on Tuesday. What do you think will happen? And what can be the pathway for both these cricketers to, of course, stamp the authority in the 11?
I think it's going to be hard for at least both to fit into the 11 because it looks really clear cut here as to what the plans are over here. Because we've got several bowlers who can bat, but we have very less batters who could bowl. And right now, the focus seems to be on the batters who could bowl, and Parag kind of checks the box for that. Washington Sundar has been, quite off color. I know the Zimbabwe series was a really good one for him, but this series was very, very indicative of what Gautam Gambhir might be potentially thinking. He's probably wanting, of course, somebody like Riyan Parag, a batter who could bowl. And the fact that Parag has bowled in both these games is an even clearer indication to, look at. So Washington might as well act as a backup, but Parag might be somebody who might get a longer stretch. And it's probably fair as well because we've got Akshat Patel, a bowler could bat. We've got Ravi Bishnoi as a wrist spin option, Kuldeep Yadav as a wrist spin option. So if Riyan Parag can consistently chip in with his off break and his versatility to also bowl the wrist spin, then I think there is no better option right now for India to have. So I'll be more than happy with that kind of stuff happening. But I still, however, do see a chance of somebody like Washington Sundar probably getting a nod in the last game just to see how he goes about that. And anyway, the series has been sealed. So I wouldn't really mind that happening either. So we could probably fit in Riyan Parag and Washington Sundar both in the third T20I. But these two games have at least given me a clear indication on what the plans are over here and why India is looking to back Riyan Parag.
Yeah, good question. That debate started in the chat by Mohit, in fact, asking us, when will you guys come live next? Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Join us. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. Indian cricket, Roko return. I think they're flying out of Sri Lanka tomorrow to, of course, prepare for the ODIs. We'll talk about that and much more. There's another question coming in from Sanjay Papigeri saying, or comment saying, will be interesting to see what India does with Tilak Verma and Nitish Kumar Reddy when they're back from injury. Both can bowl as well. Tilak needs to bowl more though. And again, they fall in that bandwidth of cricketers who can do bits and bobs of both. More going on to say, Riyan is the next Narayan for GG. And Ganit Pandra has another one saying, after Ashwin and Jadeja, who the guys who can turn the ball at least in the test format? I mean, that's a different chat altogether. We'll probably do a deep dive for the spinners in our country. But Nick, at the top of your head, any, you think, ranked turners right now in the Indian circuit?
Turners, I mean, top of my head, I think Saurav Kumar is a good one in terms of who's got regularly good, decent chances in the Ranji Trophy. Off spin is a barren patch. We have to go a long way off. Jalak Saxena never got his due. I don't think he's going to get a late call up now for the home season. So, yeah, it's a good thing to actually just sit and deep dive into every state and find out that, okay, what's up with off spin? Why, where has this skill suddenly gone off to?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Off spinners is a dying breed, at least in ODI cricket. Hopefully that does come out to some fruition with the off spinners. Speaking of spinners, did you see that clip on TNPL with Ashwin nearly being marketed? I think Akash sent that to us in the WhatsApp group. We were having a right laugh, but obviously he didn't get munkered, and the commentary too was funny behind that. But forgot to take this, but you went on to, of course, add in that Sanju conversation, saying you can't sympathize with Sanju. You grab whatever chances you get. Ishan got an ODI when Rohit was injured, and he went on to score 200, which booked him a place for the World Cup. That's the odd exception. And Sanju's been playing T20 cricket, at least for India, since 2014 now, and he's just played barely 30 games. Where Pant, someone else pointed out in the comments, has played 76. So, look, this is something that we need to really consider in terms of the keeping options and generally what changes there will be made in terms of the T20 international. Path saying random, but what's your all-time T20 international level? For the benefit of you, we'll do that in the Monday Night Live tomorrow, 100%. We're also getting involved with a lot of IPL chats, so check us out then. Your opinion, off-spin bat all-rounder versus off-spin bowl all-rounder? Bat all-rounder all day long. I mean, I can't think of any good off-spinners, who are good batting all-rounders. Ashwin, but not in the T20 scheme of things. Maybe Austin Chase this World Cup.
Will Jacks,
Will Jack.
Glenn Maxwell,
Maxi.
Charu Khan.
No, but they're all batting all-rounders. So I'm saying bowling all-rounders. There's only Ashwin, there's Chase.
Sundar. Chase is
Sundar.
still Chase is
Chase
they've
also
made
is a
their
batting
lead.
all rounder.
Yeah, Chase is marginally gone wrong for West Indies in that terms. But yeah, so it's actually very less off-spinning bowling all-rounders who can bat.
No, somebody like
Watching
Chris
this,
Green can be considered.
yeah.
He's a bowling all rounder as well.
Yeah. Okay, before we wrap up, my producer tells me that we have to, of course, showcase and tell our thoughts about the Sri Lanka success. Sri Lanka, of course, beating India in that Asia Cup final. And kudos to the women, because for so long, so often we've heard one name come out of Sri Lankan women's cricket, and that's Chamari Atapadu. But today, there were other names coming to the fore, and it was quite good to see India winning the Asia Cup a lot of times, 7 times to be particular. But this time, it was the Sri Lankan women doing it in some style. And there was one name that you guys will remember for a long time. And I'm talking about, who was it? Harshita Madhvi. I mean, that is something. There are lots of great stats as well. This is the only time in an Asia Cup women's contest that two teams have got about 150 in the same match, which is quite crazy. But really quickly, then, Nick's one word to sum it up in the interest of time.
Oh, what word? That's okay. Let me put it very enterprising. Again, might not be doing enough justice because it was a very deserving win for Sri Lanka. They've come leaps and bounds in the recent times. Even in the preview, we discussed about how they are now no longer dependent on just one person to turn up. They have Gunaratne up top. You've had Samara Vikrama, who's now consistently given you crucial contributions every game. They didn't need much of Nilakshi De Silva in this edition. Sanjay chipped in with a good contribution against Pakistan. So it's a team that is coming together as a unit, and that is as good as you can see. You saw that passion in Dilari's bowling today. That whenever she came on, she picked wickets. There was the caught behind of Richa Ghosh. You look at her not getting it and the anger that how do you not give it out? So it wasn't an easy game, but the way Sri Lanka won it on a canter, very happy for them as a unit. I think India had some obvious flaws, and Sri Lanka just ripped them apart on the very given. It's like that pulling off the bandage when you're hurt very badly. That this is a problem with you. You need to solve it, and that is something that India I think will reflect on. A very good and a timely wake up loss for India, but today is the day for Sri Lanka to just cherish.
Yeah, and it makes you think about how historic it is, not just for their first Asia Cup win and all of that. Jeet, they'd never chased down 150 plus ever. I think only they'd done it once, 156. So this was their highest ever chase in T20 internationals as well. So props to them. And your thoughts really quickly, because I know you won't be there for the MNL. So was it India just being kind of complacent on the day, or do you think Sri Lanka, look, credit where credit is due?
Well, I think momentum is also a huge thing when it comes to this format of the game. Sri Lanka winning a very close encounter against Pakistan. That was massive as well. Had they ended up on losing side, of course, they would have been knocked out. But that win perhaps instilled a lot of confidence in that particular unit. And like Nick's mentioned, this team is not anymore about Chamari Attapattu and her winning the game single-handedly. There are others who are chipping in. And every day we are seeing somebody else who's putting their hand up and putting in performances, whether it is Harshita Madhvi tonight or Vishnu Gunaratne or Kavisha Dilhari, Nilakshi De Silva in the past. All of them chip in and have taken the shoulder off Chamari's shoulders. So I think that has been the key thing for Sri Lanka over the past probably 2 months, because before that it was a very single, the Sri Lanka heading in a very single direction like West Indies, where if Chamari Attapattu comes off, then they're going to win. Otherwise, they used to end up in several losses. So I think that is something that's changed over the last couple of months, and I think that has been a huge factor for them heading into the T20 World Cup as well. So the fact that this team is not anymore about Chamari Attapattu is going to be a huge positive for them going forward.
Okay, more on the women, of course, in the MNL, like you keep harping upon. And Shivam Dubey, fast spin all-rounder, saying Sanjay Papigiri jokingly, one question, Dubey in the 30-20 international, yes or no? We might think that could be the case. All the people on the bench come and play. So, i.e. Sundar, of course, Samson might keep his place and replace Pant. Who knows? Gill comes back in. And then you can even see Arshdeep paying rest of Kuldeep. And not forget Dubey for Pandya. It could be literally wholesale but your guess is as good as mine. We really enjoyed taking all your comments on this Sunday night. Have a great week ahead, ladies and gentlemen. There is, of course, some fantastic content along the way on cricket.com. And Parth, we appreciate all your comments. There's more chat with me, Akshay, and Nick's tomorrow. So check that out. Until the next time, it's a goodbye and a good night from all of us. Quickly like this video, all you people, because I know we've taken all your comments. We've taken it, man. Mohit is literally saying there's one more question. I don't know why Sehwag told once that I don't think off spin is a bowler, but Sehwag also holds spin. I promised to play Muralidhar, and I mean, it's food for thought. But he absolutely mothered everyone. I mean, all the other off spinners in the world, Swan, Ashwin, just got nightmares playing him. But we really appreciate Chirpy Mohit. Shout out to him in the chat on a Sunday night, and all you other people watching us in this one. Jeet, thanks for your time. Nikhil, good night, and God bless. We'll see you soon. It's again an India era starting off with a winning start. Only time will tell how Gambhir will go in the third one on Tuesday. Cheers.